All right, hey everybody, I'm back. It's been a minute since I've placed out a recording because I was pretty sick for a little while. I said that I wanted to drop a Wild Rift video because I saw a YouTuber playing and I was like, it's weird how he's playing, and I wanted to post my own video to kind of go through like everything that I was going through, like play by play, probably what I was thinking, what I was doing. Try to give some tips to people who might feel like stuck in a rank or like stuck at their objective. I usually play top, so I can't really give much advice to bottoms, mids, or jungles. I used to main jungle. I hit diamond 2 while playing in jungle one season, but I mainly just play top now because I like the 1v1s and I like to test myself. And when playing jungle, it's kind of hard for like the rest of your team to kind of do things that you need them to do. So while playing top, at least I can play like half jungle and help out when things are needed. But enough of the over explanation. I'll get into it. So right now I'm going against the Malphite. Um, really, I don't really want to trade. Right, I'm just stacking up as much CS as possible. When I get right here at like the edge of a turret, I try not to touch Malphite. I try not to get too deep into a trade because stuff like this can happen. Right? If he hits me under tower, that's my life. And I did it all just to take his healing tool. And because of that, I said his healing tool, his healing plant. And because of that, he got my flash. But I also got his flash and his jungle's flash. I don't think I told the enemy team. I don't think I told my team that I got their flashes though. But I don't care. All right. As you can see, my jungle is all up inside the enemy jungle's top side. So Malphite comes to get mine as a revenge. All right. So being greedy, right? I would chase Malphite and say forget the minions, but that is not the call here. Here, I'm going to want to keep farming. I'm going to want to get as much CS as possible. Um, it would be smart, like for me, right? Because I have a pretty good understanding of Riven down. I don't mind trading early game. I like to push on people. I like to give them pressure. I like to have them panicking. I like for them to kind of just jump in and do whatever. Right? And I know that I can handle Malphite early game, depending on how he plays. But I know for the most part, I can handle him early game. Now you can see in this game, I've just died. Xin Zhao was sitting in the bottom jungle. It's cool. I'm not worried about it. Malphite just wasted his ult. It's cool. I'm not worried about it. By this point, Malphite should have more gold than me. I forget who actually gets the kill. I wasn't paying attention. To me, it doesn't matter. Really, all I have to do is kill Malphite once. Once I kill him, I win the lane. Like I already know I will. I believe he builds damage this go around. I don't think he's building any kind of protections, right? Which helps him if he gets first hit on me, right? But when it comes to me being able to tank whatever he delivers, he's going to be pretty useless, right? See, I'm not going to attack him. I'm letting him go back. I think at this point, I was waiting for him to kind of hit me from the bush, and because he hadn't, I just assumed he went back. I'm going to take his heal here. I make sure that when I like crash into tower with a wave, I try to take as many plates as possible. Usually, you can only get like one plate per push anyway, so I'm not like super stressed about that. Um, so just getting one was cool with me. You're probably like, hey, why don't you go back? You know, I don't want to. Pantheon's here. I never saw Malphite put this ward in. I guess Pantheon didn't either. When I first played this recording back, that ward was not there. Malphite was able to hit Pantheon with no ward. I thought he was hacking. I had to record with a different program. Base Wild Rift was not letting me record effectively, so I had to record with a different program. And when I did, I was able to actually see things better. Here, I let Malphite bully me some. His healing's gone. I can come here and get this healing. He could go in the river and heal, but he's not. You see, he's greedy because he thinks that he can take me. And that's what I mean. Like, he still has his ult. Oh, there he goes. Look, he's getting a heal. He still has his ult. I still have my ult, but I know that if he crashes into me, I win. Like, from that angle where he is right now, I win. Chances are I'm going back because I can get a real item. The builds that I usually play are the number one ranked Riven in the game at the time. Whenever I hop on, the builds tend to change from time to time. Sometimes a single player holds that spot. So I'll use their builds for majority of the game. But in this case, um, during this time, one player had a certain build. I don't catch them, right? Animation never really landed. One player has a certain build, and I decide to go with it. All it does is gives Riven a little bit of a quick attack speed with a little bit of tank and just kind of like flat damage. And it's like universally good. Um, just for like standard games, right? It's not meant for like kills. I don't go for kills. It depends on like my mindset for games, but in most cases, I'm not going for kills, right? I'm trying to play objectively. I used to go for kills, and I'd have games where I went like 20-4, right? And my team would still lose. So I'm going for objectives a lot more. If you get Dragon, if you get Soul, your team prospers. If you get Baron, if you get Herald, your team prospers. So it's smarter to get objectives than it is to hunt down for kills. Now, if you can get kills along the way, by all means, do so. Karma comes here to help me with Malphite. Oh, she turns. Usually, I ping people, and if it's like me in a lane by myself, I tell people leave me alone. Because I know I can handle them. Like, see, he just flashed. He burned his flash running away from me. Mind you, Malphite's done all that damage to my tower. He's probably been getting kills from when Zinzao jumped me, right? He's been doing this, he's been doing that, right? There's no reason why he should run from me. He most likely has his ult. He most likely has an item or two items ahead of me, right? That's my assumption, at least. But he's running from me. When it comes to this team, like what we're fighting against, I pretty much know how everybody plays, so I have an understanding. Like by everybody, I mean every champion. I pretty much know how every champion plays, so I have a pretty good understanding of what players are going to do to try to set me up or come fight me or whatever the case may be. The only one that I'm a little worried about is Zinzao because I don't entirely know what Zinzao does, and I don't entirely know how he's useful outside of ganking. So I don't really want to fight much with Zinzao near me unless I have somebody with me. I always put the pink ward. I always put it in a bush, right? Um, if I'm on that side, or now this was I remember this. This was painful. I don't know how he got away. He had like a Yumi shield, but I always put a ward, a pink ward in that bush. Enemies can see it. They can walk past it. They can hit me, whatever the case may be. But I put it there because people will hit the little vision to see if there's any wards there, and then they'll come by and they'll kill my ward. And right after they do, I'll come right back and I'll put another pink ward there, and they won't even know. Right? Um, all right. By this point, I've got flowers around me, so I've got that purple item. I think it's Transcendence. Jinx swaps lanes with me. I don't really like games where my teammates don't stay in their lane to push it in and clear it. But at the same time, um, it is what it is. Sometimes I get into games where people want to run fiestas. Sometimes I get into games where people are actually doing their job. Sometimes I get into games where people go AFK and like they don't like actually go AFK. They just stop moving because they get upset that they didn't get this or that, right? And it's whatever, right? Um, but as far as matchups go, I'm pretty confident I can take Varus, I can take Lux, I can take Aurelian, and I can take Malphite. Zen Zhao is my only issue, and that's only because I don't entirely know how he works. But having wards all in the enemy's jungle really helps. Because basically you want to like avoid fog of war, right? You don't want to face check anything. You want to run. Hold on, look at me. I was focusing Lux. It didn't really go through. She gets away, but Jinx comes by to capitalize on everything, and that's cool. I believe Jinx kills Aurelian here. Oh, nobody does. No, Karma does. Yeah, yeah. But then Karma gets killed by Malphite. Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, it's whatever. By this point, I've gotten like no kills. I think I've gotten no kills, but I helped take Dragon. I helped take Herald. I'm pretty sure I help take the next dragon. If I don't, then I take bottom lane. I don't like games where the entire team is fighting in one lane, mainly because from history, if you got a lot of kills, you and or your teammates get comfortable, and there's an issue being comfortable. You need to stay on guard as if you could lose any minute, because in reality, you can. You could beat the enemy team by 20 kills and still lose the game, because kills are not everything, right? You need objectives. You need gold. Kills in Wild Rift aren't going to always bless you with gold. Your real gold is going to come from CS. If you can't farm, you're going to suffer. So in this case, I let them have Red Dragon. Red Dragon's a pretty biggie. Um, Nobody was there fighting Red Dragon, and I wanted the extra gold from towers as well as the farm for items. This game was pretty slow, I think, because if you really think about it, Malphite was terrified to fight me. He just kept poking. He would poke, he would run. He would poke, he would run. He would poke, he would run. This lets me know that I can take him. Not only that, but I've fought in a good bit of Malphites. And for the most part, they lose against me, right? But it's not about if I can kill them or whatever the case may be, right? It's about how I can handle the situation when it comes up, right? See, their whole team's about to close in on me. You see what's going on? Always keep like your eye on the map, right? Even when you're CSing, keep your eye on the map. You really just need to pay attention to the champions that are going to roam in the jungle. Um, that's why having wards in like the enemy's jungle definitely helps. When you played enough games, you kind of start to learn what people do or what's like the general habit of a lot of people, so you kind of understand like what they're going through, what they're starting, right? So for example, excuse me, they've been running in groups pretty much this entire game, as far as like what I've seen, right? Okay, they've been running in groups pretty much this entire game. So I know that when I see one champion, I'm probably going to see the rest. Now, if I pay attention to the map while Malphite's kind of just teasing me and baiting me, I can see that three of their teammates are in middle lane. All right? So I'm like, okay, where's Jungle? Because if Malphite's by himself, that means Jungle's probably waiting on me. So I know I can't engage on Malphite. And if you paid attention to the map, Jungle was he was itching in, right? If I would have jumped on Malphite, he would have flashed over to confirm the kill on me because my team isn't really doing much. We're going 11 and 21 as a team, right? They keep fighting. You are not going to prosper if all you do is fight. You need to take towers. You need to CS. You need to take objectives. You need to farm. Farming gives you better items. If you have better items, you win more fights. Fighting is not going to mean that you win the game. And for some reason, a lot of my teammates just don't get that. Like I play in Emerald, I've played in Emerald, I've played in Diamond, I've played in Plat. The mindset supposed to change per rank. And sometimes the mindset does change per rank. But a lot of times, no. From like gold 4 to like emerald. I think I'm like emerald 2, about to be emerald 1. Only reason I'm not emerald 1 now is because like my last 2 or 3 games, every time I'd hit the turning point to be emerald 1, I'd end up in a game where a teammate goes AFK, right? Or a teammate flat out leaves the game. Or there's a teammate who's tired of playing and instead of surrendering because nobody else wants to surrender, they kill themselves over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? So I'll be like a game from Emerald 1 and then that happens and it's like, oh well. Oh, you see me stand still. I'm not typing. I have chat turned off pretty much all the time in my games because I just don't want to the toxicity people share. You can see I'm not going to dive on Aurelion, Soul, and Malphite. I'm telling everybody to be careful. I'm constantly pinging to be careful. Jinx is hiding out, telling Jinx to be careful. Why? Because I don't want to fight Sinzao. That right there is why I don't want to fight Sinzao. Malphite is still hanging on to him. Malphite is holding him like a newborn baby. Malphite's got CC. Riven hates CC. I cannot do anything if I'm knocked in the air. I cannot do anything if I'm stunned. I cannot do anything, right? If it's a one-on-one, I can face it. But when they're in groups, I can't do anything. They leave me speechless, and my teammates don't get that they're pretty much the same way, right? You're more glass than I am. Once they hold you down, you can't do anything. At this point, I realized we could lose the game, so I'm kind of like pushing in to give some pressure to push them off, but I could die. I flash to be careful. I come back in. I can take a Lux with no mana, a Varus with no mana, and a Aurelion, so right? I can take all three of them. I'm not scared of that. Jinx comes in to push with them. I decide to go with them. Xin Zhao should have stayed. He could have killed Jinx and I right then and there, but he wanted to go back. I think he took our red, and he's going to take his red. Something Pantheon should have been a little more focused on, but because he wasn't, it's whatever. When Xin Zhao takes it, he can give one red to his teammates and give the other red to his teammates. So him plus two other teammates can all have a red buff, and we're screwed because none of us can have it unless we kill somebody. And my teammates keep running into a fight. Blue Dragon's up right now, as you can see. They're all at Blue Dragon. Lux is pushing down mid lane because they have super minions. To me, it's not smart for Lux to push down mid lane. She wants to end the game as fast as possible. If her teammates ran with her, she could have, right? But because she thinks she can kind of solo end, she's not doing so, right? So I can go back to base. She thinks she's smooth. She thinks she's slick. I can go back to base. The idea would be not to focus Lux and to focus the minions, but we have minions kind of sitting there waiting, and I knew somebody was going to come back to base, so I knew that they could help. But I jumped on Lux, and as you saw, she died. I have like I have three ways to dodge her stun. And basically, if you dodge Lux's stun, she's useless, right? I can flash, I have my E, and I have my Q. I can dodge Lux's stun. So because Lux wanted to be greedy, she wanted to be impatient, she didn't want to play with the team, her teammates die. We get another dragon. Well, yes, some of her teammates die. We get another dragon. She dies. We get more farm. And now, as you can see, they're going to fight near Baron, and they don't have a Lux. Now, chances are, I probably did not want my team to fight. There's a pretty good chance I did not want my team to go in. We can't see. You're face checking. You never want to face check. Face checking is when you walk into a fog of war with no vision, right? When you walk into a bush, you have no vision. When you're walking into the river and you have no vision. When you don't have wards, you don't just walk in. That's called face checking. Jinx died because she was hungry for kills and she was willing to put her life on the line to try to secure kills. Nobody's with her. If Karma was with Jinx, they probably would have killed Lux, Varus, and whoever it was. I think Malphite that she killed, but she wasn't there, right? So here I am, solo pushing bot. I want my team to take top. I want my team to take mid, but do you see them right now? You see what my teammates are doing right now? They're playing right there. Lux is just hanging out back there. They could have killed Lux. They could have hopped in top. We could be split pushing as a group, but they are not. When stuff like this happens, you have two responsibilities. Does she kill me? Oh no. When stuff like this happens, you have two responsibilities. Responsibility one is to help your team fight. Responsibility two is to get farm. You got to decide what it is that you want to do. I did not know that they could see me there. That's well, I mean, I saw that they could see me there. So Malphite actually saw me and just ignored me, which is crazy. Look at that. And our team took Dragon because Malphite and Lux came to push me on bottom lane. It does not take two people to push me on bottom lane. All you have to do was kind of burst me and run. Right? It wasn't a matter of killing me. But Lux is impatient and she's trying to get kills. She's trying to get the game over with. Malphite has kind of just been playing like a pussy this whole time. If he played tank, their team would have a higher chance of winning. He's in the solo lane. He shouldn't be straight DPS Malphite, but hey, if it worked for him, it worked for him. So, whatever, right? Jinx is being as hot headed as ever. And in this case, because Karma's with her, she's got a chance. So I'm going to keep split pushing. Now we're all pushing from angles, except for Vladimir. I don't know what Vladimir's doing. I think this game Vladimir was feeding. I can't remember. But now we're all pushing from angles. The smart play would be to all push on the Nexus and in the game. But we shouldn't, right? Because their entire team is back, except for Varus, and you don't want to risk it. We put danger. We put retreat. Pantheon did not listen. He was running away. I wasn't going to put my life on the line because if they kill me, like say I jump out to help Pantheon, right? Pantheon's going to think, okay, well I can't let Riven fight them by herself, so let me help. I'll jump in and help Riven. It's like Pantheon, what are you doing? Do not do that. Do not. And so I can't risk that, right? I when you play with randoms, just automatically assume that they lack common sense, right? So I let Pantheon run for his life, and he died. Jinx turned around to help. She didn't die. Thank God. Jinx, even though she has been putting her life on the line constantly, she does get at least 1 to 2 kills, which helps with the team fight, but she also pushes when she sees an opening, which helps with the team fight. All right. So you can see how the map's set up by this point. Everybody's kind of crowding around Baron. Chances are my team doesn't have vision to where the whole enemy team is, but it's kind of safe to assume they're not in top lane. Okay, when Vladimir rushed in to kill himself, we got vision there. I think that was me pinging. It could have been Jinx though. Push Baron, push Baron, push Baron. Why does this matter? The entire team's on Baron except for Vlad. All right. So what does that mean? That means while the entire team is on Baron, I can distract them by pushing in top lane and basically have them take 2 of their members to put their energy out on me while my team goes to take Baron. So 3 of my teammates can fight there too, like Lux and Zinzao. So while I'm dead, my team has a number advantage, and we have a higher chance of getting Baron. So I put my life on the line for that. Not only that, but I knew I could take Varus, I knew I could take Aurelion Sol, and I knew I could take Malphite. My issue when playing is that I've set myself up to where I need to tab target aim by tapping the champion's face, and I don't do that as often. So I make a lot of mistakes when fighting, especially when it comes to fighting multiple people. But I did kill at least one person, all right? Which doesn't matter because they come back before I do, obviously. But I still have Baron, and I have it for, 40 seconds. Look at this tomfoolery. Xin Zhao's overstepping. He's got like 4 people on him. He should die. Let's see. Xin Zhao gets away. All right, cool. So the rest of their team is kind of just protecting. And that's good. I see somebody saying attack Elder. Pantheon saying attack Elder, attack Elder, attack Elder. Malphite is split pushing. He's trying to get some more money to be a little more useful. They just kill Karma. We got a few options here. We could have gone all out on Lux, Aurelion Sol, and Varus, but we risk being targeted by Nexus, and we risk Xin Zhao killing all of us, right? Or we could take Dragon. So I'm going to let them take Dragon because I had a feeling at least Xin would be a little more on top of the game to try to stop them from taking Dragon. Vlad's been killing himself this entire game. I remember this. Vlad was on a suicide mission. But this game, he actually kills Xin Zhao. Don't know how he does it, but he takes Xin Zhao out. And that was like, he had like 2 kills the entire game. And that was one of the kills. I think I die here. Oh, I'm bait? No, I definitely die here. It's cool. I'm not super stressed about it. Jinx and Vlad are out there. Vlad was giving me hemorrhoids. Jinx is just ready, right? He wants to get it done. I forget who's pinging to attack. It could have been me. But they finish it, and it's cool. I did not go crazy with kills, and I did not care about going crazy with kills because at the end of the day, if you win the game, you get a higher rank up and you get more points towards your champions level, right? To kind of focus more on like success as a whole is to basically lead your team, right? I thought that when you played jungle, it meant that you would call the shots and lead your team because you're the main person who's going to be taking objectives. But not every jungle queues for jungle. Sometimes they get put in jungle. Not every jungle is used to playing jungle. Not every jungle has that mindset that they have to lead the team. Sometimes they think that the team has to lead and they follow behind. So the mindset here is you shouldn't really focus on kills. You should focus on taking objectives. You should focus on farming, keeping your CS pretty good. Because when you're 15 and Elder Dragon is spawned, I think you should have your boots in at least 4 of your 5 items, 3.5 of your 5 items, right? You shouldn't be 2 items in. I think Vladimir had 2 items in that entire game. I could be wrong though. To add to all of that, somebody has to be the person who pings, right? Somebody has to tell the rest of the team, attack this, watch out for that, help me with this, right? Somebody has to be that person to do it. The entire team could be doing it, but sometimes that gets annoying. There are some people who make really bad calls, and there are some people that you just should not listen to, right? But Vladimir, I believe I reported because he really did like feed the entire game. Outside of Vlad, which is crazy because Aurelian Soul did like no damage to me whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure he was farming off of Vlad. So I don't even know how that happened. But outside of Vlad, right? Um, Jinx was heavy on kills, just like the enemy Lux. She wanted the game to be over. She wanted to be in a new game, so they were both like ready to end, and they were both pushing and doing as much as they could to make sure that they got what it was that needed to be done. And they made mistakes for it. They died a lot because of it. Um, Malphite took up solo, which you can pretty much do whatever you want in solo, but it's understood that you're either a tank or a bruiser, right? So if you can't take on 1 to 2 enemies at a time as whatever solo champion you are, you're probably throwing, right? I think Malphite was throwing. Sure, he helped with the CC, but his ult is basically what determines CC, right? You don't need to build damage to be CC. I didn't check his build. For all I know, he could have been going defense, but I know that I hit him fairly hard like mid game, so I doubt he was going defense. Um, so yeah, the I think the biggest mistake for the enemy team is when they had us all kind of low and had us against the ropes, they should not have fought us for Dragon. When we went to get Dragon, somebody should have been pushing with Lux. Like 2 of them should have been pushing with Lux. They could have ended the game because we were all distracted on Dragon. Everybody, I think, except for me, right? So if more than just Lux would have been pushing down mid, we would have lost that game. But Zinzao and everybody else wanted to get kills. They wanted to fight each other, and they actually lost the fight because it turns out Lux was a pretty strong crutch for them. Right? They had a lot of CC, they had a lot of lockdown, and they ended up losing for it. And it's not because of who they chose; it's because of how they played. Um, Hopefully, that helped out some. There were a few things I wanted to say, I believe, a few days ago when I was thinking about making this video, but I can't entirely remember everything now. Obviously, as far as KDA goes, this isn't like one of my best games, but at the same time, League is not one of those games where I'm worried about KDA, right? You're not going to get the diamond going 20-4. You're going to get the diamond whether you win or lose, right? I see posts on Reddit all the time of people showing their match history, saying they're cursed, going 17-0, going 30-2, going 25-6, and every single game is a loss. Just having high kills is not enough. It's not enough. Baron is a very important objective to take. Herald is a very important objective to take. The dragons and the dragon soul are very important objectives to take. You need to make sure you're clearing towers. Another fun little fact. I believe I found this out in Smite, but I believe Wild Rift does the exact same thing because I've seen it. If you take down one tower, that's like, say you knocked every tower except for the main ones that are guarding the Nexus, right? If you take down one tower and your team rushes the Nexus and you get close to killing it, but you all die, right? The Nexus is going to heal because it has two towers still standing that can keep it regenerating health. If you were to take down all three of those towers that are guarding the Nexus, you're going to kill that Nexus twice as fast, right? You have to take those towers down. So if you can't take them all down in one swing, in one wave, you take one down, let the super minions rush in while one or two enemies are focused on those super minions, your team splits. One of you focuses one tower, the other focuses the other, right? Because chances are one enemy is not going to be able to handle those super minions if you do it in an early enough time, right? Two of them are going to have to do it. All right, that's two. They have three of their teammates left. One of them's going to have to stop you guys on one tower. The other's going to have to stop you guys on the other tower. And then the extra one's going to have to decide who they want to help in whatever tower lane, right? So as long as you're playing smart in a strategic way, you can actually bring hell to the enemy team. But we don't use voice chat. A lot of the people I play with speak different languages. I turned in-game chat off because people just complain and cuss each other out in like Spanish. So I just play without the chat. Don't really need it anyway. Um, I hope that helped somewhat and showed some people whatever. The YouTuber that I saw kind of complaining, who I guess was like hard stuck in Emerald One, I believe he made it to Diamond Four like 2 or 3 days later. I would have been Emerald One outside of like the games where like my teammates are like purposely feeding. I had one game where it just took me out of the match as a whole. I was playing at work. My connection at work is god awful, but usually I can at least stomach a game, if not more. But as of late, it's been getting worse and worse, and it took me out of the game as a whole mid match. I come back in, and like we've lost drag, we lost Baron, we lost like two towers, and I think I got a penalty for leaving. And after that, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. Like I'm getting burnt out because um I've been getting disconnected a lot. And I usually play at work, and that's where the lag happens. That's where the disconnects happen. It's actually really frustrating, and I'd rather not play the game at all than play with lag. The last thing you want to do is play a competitive game where you have latency issues, delays, or lag. And lag was a very, very real problem like a patch or two ago. They fixed it for the most part. I mean, I can't completely blame them because of where like I decide to play the game at times. But at the same time, you would think that being as big and as great as the game can be at times, they would put in enough money or resources to make the servers a little more bearable for everybody, right? But I feel like I've gone on too crazy of a track. If you stayed this far, hopefully you learned something. Feel free to ask questions in the comments if there's anything, or put in your own piece of information. I don't think a ton of people are going to watch this, but if you do, hey, thanks for sticking around. Peace.